Claudia, can you hear me now? I feel like an old commercial. Is there sound now, Claudia? I hope. I hope. Sorry, folks on TikTok. Bear with me. Bear with me. Is there sound now, friend? Can you confirm? This is driving me crazy. Works. Okay, good. Thank you. Let me start over. Hi, everybody. I'm Heather Vickery, transformational success coach, human design guide, NLP practitioner, human being with a big, tender heart. And right now I'm feeling big emotions because I just saw a photo on Instagram of the first trans person to ever argue a case in front of the United States Supreme Court. And this is the trans rights case. Happens to be a Black trans person. And we don't know what's going to happen with this case. We don't know what's going to happen in the country. We don't know what's going to happen in the world. We have theories. Most of them suck. But I'm emotional because this photo was filled with so much joy. I urge you to go to my Instagram stories and take a look. There's so much joy on the face of this human being. And it instantly made me like burst into tears because so many things can be true at once. We can be scared, we can be afraid, we can be angry, we can be filled with rage, and we can be joyful. We can be hopeful, we can be thoughtful and kind and compassionate to ourselves and to others. We can do all of these things at once. And so today's live show topic is about protecting your peace, creating boundaries during the holidays, and it all fits, right? So before I get into any of that, I want to just quickly tell you guys who I am and what I do and why I'm here doing this. So I said before, my name is Heather. I'm a transformational success coach. I am a trained and certified human design specialist, NLP practitioner, success coach, transformation coach. I'm trained in positive psychology. What I do at the core is I help people like you, conscious, thoughtful leaders who want to make a difference in the world, learn to lead from a place of embodied joy and self trust and self confidence. Because when we show up in our leadership roles from that perspective, everything's different. We engage differently, we respond differently. We can't give other people anything that we're not willing to give ourselves. So I'm not a business coach, I'm a you coach. I'm a transformation coach. I help you be the person you most love and most desire so that you can go out and do the things that you're here to do in the world. Whether you are a realtor and you're helping people find their perfect home, if you are an influencer or you're making money on book talk, or you are a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or whatever you're doing, you're touching people out in the world. You're making a difference and you'll make a better difference, a bigger difference, a more impactful, profound difference if you focus on loving yourself first and growing yourself first and build a foundation of joy as a set point in your life so that you show up differently and you engage differently and you interact differently and then people respond to you differently and you get better results, healthier, happier results. And that's what I want for you. It's what I want for our communities. It's what I want for the whole wide world. And it's why I show up and I do this work all day, every day. And sometimes it feels like nobody's watching. Sometimes it feels like nobody's paying attention to any of it. And I'm just talking into a void. And those days are hard. And then I come on and I do my live show and I can see that you're here and some of you are giving hearts and diamonds and comments. And I'm so grateful to know that you're here, that you've chosen to take a few moments out of your busy life to show up for me and for yourself and for everybody else. And during the holidays, especially, that we get so bogged down with what it's supposed to be, who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, if it looks good enough, if it's fancy enough, if it's pretty enough, if it's joyful enough. There's a lot of people pleasing. There's a lot of putting ourselves on the back burner so that we can give everybody else all the things all the time. Now, some of you might be past that space, past that stage where you're like, ah, fuck it, I don't do that anymore. And I love you if that's you. I hear that. But most of us, we struggle with it. And what we really need to do is set really strong boundaries around how we're going to be and who we're going to be during the holidays. And boundaries are your key to self growth, self awareness, self love. Because in order to set boundaries, you have to be reflective. You have to look at your true self, how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with. Are you getting the results that you want? Figuring out what feels icky, what's painful, and then saying, if I don't want that, what do I want instead? That's where you come up with what your boundaries should be. Remember that boundaries are all about you. They're not about anyone else. You get to set your own boundaries. Boundaries are limits that define acceptable behavior, and you get to decide what boundaries are for you. But your responsibility with that is to communicate those boundaries clearly and concisely to anybody who has, a stake in the game. People can't give you what you want if they don't know what it is. So if you set a boundary, but then you don't tell people what that boundary is, they're going to cross that boundary and it's going to piss you off. So, for example, if I'm just going, I'm riffing, going to go off the cuff here. If you've got little kids and they don't like to be hugged and kissed at the holidays, you can't hear us, Danielle? Ugh, shit. You guys, my lives are. Can you hear me now, Danielle? I've just been talking and talking and talking. Nothing. But I love that you guys are giving me hearts anyway. These guys are so great. I love my TikTok family. Okay. All right. I was trying to use my little microphone, but everything got disturbed. Okay. So we'll go back. I was giving an example on how to set boundaries during the holidays. Um, and then just one random example, if you have little kids and the little kids don't like to be hugged or kissed, but you've got family members who are always doing it. This is personal example. Me, I do all the time. Right. Um, The boundary is, if my child does not want to be hugged or kissed, you say to your child, I've got your back. I will tell people not to. If they try to force it, I will take you away from the situation and you speak in advance. My child does not want to be hugged or kissed. And no, you don't just get to do it because you're the aunt or you're the grandma or whatever. When people tell us what they need, we need to listen to them. We need to believe them. And consent starts at birth, right? Or maybe you're the one who makes all the food for all the meals and you don't want to do that anymore. That doesn't feel good to you. You can set a boundary and say, I'm going to make X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm bringing. You can bring whatever you want. This is what I'm doing. Some boundaries, though, that I think are really powerful are making sure you're protecting your peace, giving yourself some internal gifts that will help you show up as your most harmonious, aligned self. I just did a really powerful meditation right before this. So giving yourself, whether it's a guided EFT tapping meditation, just sitting quietly, listening to a subliminal. These are all things that I offer. They're services that I offer. You can access them by private coaching or through my Spark Collective, which is $18 a month. But you can do these on your own too. You don't have to do them through me. I want you to do them for yourself. Find things that work for you. Just a few minutes a day will make a tremendous difference. And I was just talking on Tuesday with one of my daughters because I had said I haven't meditated in the last week and I can tell it's really affecting me. And she said, what does meditation do for you? How do you know? And so there's some science behind it. The science behind meditation is that it does stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. It does give you sort of a third eye insight into what's showing up for you, what you want to shift, what you want to change. Sometimes you will get downloads or messages from that, but mostly it just gives you a moment to calm down. It also energizes you, which sounds crazy, but a good deep meditation, even a short one, gives you more energy. But it's because we aren't in fright frozen mode all the time, because we have some control, because we're giving ourselves a little bit of time just to breathe and to be with ourselves. And so if you don't like the sit and be quiet meditation thing, you don't have to do that. Like I said, a guided EFT tapping, a subliminal, a guided visualization, all of that. There's walking meditations, there's lots of different things you can do. But finding time for yourself, carving out just a few minutes a day, a couple times a week, for yourself will make a lot of difference. For me, morning, quiet, coffee, a book is really helpful. Like whatever you know is going to give you a sense of calm and peace, give you some time to think, to figure out, who and how you want to be, how you want to exist um, in each individual day is such a gift. And it's not just during the holidays, it's all the time. Uh, you know, Most of the time we let our day run us, we don't run it. And that's going to look different for everybody. If you're not a super structured and routine person, maybe you don't want to do it in the morning. Maybe you want to do it before bed. Maybe you want to do it at lunchtime. And it can look different for everybody. That's something really important. My work, my coaching, my mentorship, and my guidance is never about telling you it has to be done like this in order to be right. I work with you to figure out what best serves you and create a system and a plan that will honor you in all of the ways you need to be honored. There is not one cut or dry way to grow yourself and to show up for yourself or to set boundaries or to be successful or to be brave or to be happy or to be joyful. There is not just one way. There are lots of ways. There are lots of different modalities and tools and resources and things that you can do for yourself that will make a massive difference across the board. And when we're talking about setting boundaries that spark joy or protecting our peace, which is what we're talking about today, you can't know what those things are going to be unless you take the time to sit with yourself and be thoughtful and be reflective and be engaged in your life instead of just responsive. Be proactive. That's what I mean when I said setting joy as a default instead of an end goal. It changes everything. When you choose to find what's working, even if everything around you feels like a big, massive mess, you're going to show up differently. Again, I go back to that picture of the Black trans attorney who just argued a case in front of the Supreme Court, the very first trans attorney to ever do that, the joy on their face. That's what I'm talking about. You can find joy and also be experiencing difficulties. One does not counteract the other, one does not take the other away, but finding joy, seeking gratitude, seeking community and connection, protecting your peace, it helps you be healthier as you move through challenging times. It helps you show up in a way that is sustainable and repeatable. It changes everything. But this is only a gift that you can give yourself. There's no magic wand. And if there was, you would be the one that has the wand because you are the one with the power. You are the only one with the power. So I can guide, can lead, I can coach, I can mentor. There are lots of other people who do something similar to me. Find folks that you like, that you connect with. I hope it's me. If it's not, that's okay. But you're the one that has to say yes to yourself. You're the one that has to show up for yourself and do this work because no one can do it for you. No one can do it for you. So whether you're joining a community like my Spark community, or you're going on the Costa Rica retreat because you want a whole week of time just for yourself, or you're just choosing to sit for 10 or 15 minutes quietly throughout your day with yourself, whatever you're picking, you're the one doing it. You have to say yes to yourself. You have to show up for yourself. You have to pick yourself. And then figure out what that's going to look like. So we've got some comments. Claudia says, I'm grateful for you. You show up in my life in the most perfect times. Um, Thank you for sharing that. I love that. I appreciate it, my friend. It's nice to see you again. And Megan says, thank you for this reminder today. I've been stretched thin lately, and I know I feel better and show up better when I take a few minutes to recenter myself and be present. That is the truest of all true things. And it's hard to do. And again, just a little while ago, I spoke about how I enjoy meditation. And I did not always enjoy meditation. So let's be clear and honest about that. I used to think meditating was really hard. I also used to think it had to last for like an hour. And I never do an hour long meditation ever. And that's just okay with me. If I don't need to do an hour. If I do 15, 20, 30 minutes, it's totally fine for me. Sometimes I'll even do 10 and it makes a difference. But It's hard when we are swamped, when we are super busy, when we are in the middle of the mess to force ourselves to take the time. And that is why I said to my kiddo earlier this week, I can tell that I haven't given myself the space and the time that I need for me because I feel on edge. Every part of my body feels tense and angry, and I'm short tempered, and I want to cry all the time. And I know that is because I am not caring for myself. So, just so you all know, I don't get it right all the time either. I don't get it right all the time either. We all just do the best we can with what we've got. My goal, my hope is to help you find ways that you can show up for yourself, to find ways to fill your cup, especially when things feel hard. It's easy to do that when things feel great, when we're thriving. When we're having negative trends and metaphysical science, we call that trends, negative trends or positive trends, um, negative limiting decisions, that kind of thing. We can do, some subconscious reprogramming around that, but the truth of the matter is anything that has been done can be undone. Sit with that. Anything that has been done can be undone. You can create the change that you want to create. And you're human. So we're going to have negative trends. In fact, this is the Spark content. Every month I drop some specialty content to the members of my Spark collective. They get access to it before anybody else does. And this is what we're talking about: how to recognize negative trends and shift out of them. This is what we're talking about in the next drop for the Spark Collective. If anybody's curious about it, you can find the links in all my bios. Spark Collective is only $18 a month. How do you recognize the negative trends and how do you shift out of them? Both on a conscious level, on a subconscious level, on a neurological level. Yes, Megan, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. Megan's in the Spark Collective. You're gonna get it by the end of the week or first thing next week. I'm sorry, it's taking a while. Um, we don't have to stay in these spaces. Anything that has been done can be undone, and anything that has been done can be repeated, but not without conscious awareness, not without intention. Okay. All right, loves. I don't know why lately we've been having tech issues. I've been trying new things and things haven't worked, but Mercury's in retrograde, and this is interesting. We always say that, oh, things aren't working because Mercury's in retrograde, and we say it sort of off the cuff and kind of as a joke. Um, but that actually is a real thing because we know, like just like the moon affects the tides, we know that what's happening out in the universe energetically changes what's happening here on Earth. Nobody's making this up. This isn't woo woo. This is fucking science. It's quantum physics, but it's science. Energy affects everything. Technology is energy. The fact that I am talking to all of you right now, that's that's energy. That's science. And when a planet like Mercury goes into retrograde, it fucks all the shit up. So that is what's happening. So I got to figure all that out. But I'm going to pull a Create Brave card for everybody because I think we all need it. And I like to do that at the end of my live shows. This is a deck of manifestation cards. So I co-created this with my friend Rachel Swanson. And it's not about making something out of nothing. Manifestation isn't just deciding you want something and it magically happens. Manifestation is declaring something and then shifting the way you show up in the world in order to make it happen. Because yes, you have to think it and you have to believe it, but also then you have to be the power behind the doing. You have to change the way you're showing up if you want something different to happen. And I love these cards. They're beautiful. And we pull one. Oh, there she is. The universe. It's just like any other deck of cards. Oh, Claudia, I'm so glad you love them. Yes, you definitely need to start using them. Claudia says, I love those cards. Keep an eye out on my newsletter. If you guys get my newsletter, I'm going to be giving a discount on all of my services and all of my products for the holidays. I didn't do a Black Friday thing. I don't like that. But in my meditation today, the one that I have right before this live show, um, that's what showed up. Like I really want to offer, we're going to offer 30% off of all services and products and a $500 credit for the Costa Rica retreat if anybody is looking to join us Costa Rica January 2026. So it's almost a year from now. Um, It just showed up. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'm not really going to advertise it. I'm just going to offer it to my email list. So if you want access to any of those things, make sure you're on my email list. Go to vickeryandco.com and you can sign up for it. Anyway, when I'm pulling a tarot card or an affirmation card or a manifestation card, I just shuffle until the card that the universe wants me to have pops up. And this is it. And it's funny because I hadn't even looked at it when I told you about the download during my meditation. Integrity. I lead with my values and they guide my path. So when you see this card, when you think about this card, when you look at the image, when you hear the word integrity, what shows up for you? What does integrity mean to you? For me, integrity is what I do when no one's watching. It's how I practice what I preach. It's how I stay aligned and honest. And if it doesn't feel like it's within my integrity, I will not do it. Black Friday didn't feel like it was within integrity. I don't want to put a big marketing and sales promotion around this holiday 30% off that I'm going to do. That doesn't feel good to me. I'm not judging anybody who does it. It doesn't feel good to me. But what does feel within integrity is to give this gift to the people who consistently show up for me and around me, right? I want to honor you all. I want to love you. I want to celebrate you. I want to thank you. So when you see this card and you look at the image and you hear the word integrity and you hear the affirmation, I lead with my values and they guide my path. If you're honest with yourself, what shows up? What is the message for you today? What is the message for you today? And what is one intentional action step you can take towards whatever the message is? Remember that there is no magic wand, but if there was, you would be the only one that holds it because you are the only one that can show up for yourself. You have to choose yourself first. You can't give anybody else anything that you're not willing to give yourself. We have a comment. Integrity is one of my core values. Another good reminder today to spend some time to realign myself. Yeah, absolutely. Before we go, I did want to give you guys one little bitty gift. If you've ever worked with me one on one, you have done this before. And if you haven't, welcome. I want to show you a quick way you can calm yourself, stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. It helps you get out of a stuck space or an angry space, all of that. It just sort of helps you clear the deck for whatever you need to. So, first, I want you to start sitting up straight and put your feet on the ground. And then put your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your left. And you can do this with your eyes closed or open, whatever you want to do. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top. Release with a sigh. Repeat after me, either out loud or in your mind. Thank you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. That's the Ho'oponopono prayer. And you can whisper that into your water before you drink it or your beverages. It's always a really good reminder of self love and self care and self compassion. Now we're going to do a really short breath work that I affectionately call 378. Sorry, 478. That I affectionately call 478. I need to take it up. We're going to breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold at the top for a count of 7, and then breathe out for a count of 8. I'm going to show you what that's like, and then I'm going to do it and count you through it. A lot of times people will say that you can't really breathe in for that full amount. It's hard to hold it, or maybe even that release. You don't have that much air, but you do. And often we don't really get it until the very end, like the third repetition. That's okay. All right. So here's what this looks like when I do it. I go in, hold, and release. All right. So you guys ready? I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to go in, hold, release. In, hold, release. Last one. In, hold, release. Okay. You can come back to the room. How was that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Does it feel good? I'm a little tingly now. Anytime we do breath work, even for a short amount of time, my body really gets engaged. That is a great tool to get unstuck or to create more focus. Or if you're feeling intense negative emotions that you want to process and move through, it's a really, really, really great start. Megan says she needed that today. Megan, you've done that with me a lot of times, right? And I love, I'm glad it was here for you. The thing is, even when we do stuff all the time, sometimes we need a reminder to do the things that support us, that help us, that work with us, that honor us. I always say we kind of have to fall off the horse on occasion in order to realize that we really like riding the horse, that it gets us from A to B, that it takes us where we want to go, right? So you have all of these um, tools and resources. And again, this is what I offer to all of the clients, whether you're in the Spark Collective, we do subconscious reprogramming, one on one work, retreats, all of that. This is what I bring to the table, a whole slew of modalities and resources that you can decide what works for you, what you want. What you want to keep, what you want to ditch, all of that, because there's not one right way ever. There's no one right way. And sometimes we just forget oh, that really serves me. Meditation serves me. EFT tapping, breath work, going for a walk, doing reflective work. I mean, I have my book here, Fuck Fearless. I wrote this. This is going to be part of the 30% off if you're on my newsletter list. It's a creative, strategic approach to dreaming, designing, building the life that you love, including problem solving. And it's part memoir, part case study, part get into action. But the work in here, this is part of it too, right? This is part of it too. The work in here, it fucking works, man. This stuff works, and you don't have to do it all day, every day. You don't have to do it all the time. But when you catch yourself really tense or really angry or really short-tempered, or you're not sleeping, or you're not doing the things that keep you happy and healthy, then it's time to go back to the table and go, oh, that thing really helps. And sometimes we need reminders. It's why accountability is so important. I serve as an accountability partner for every single one of my clients, every single person that I work with, because sometimes we just need the accountability. We need somebody to check in on us and say, hey, how you doing today? It's going to be okay. How are you taking care of yourself today? How are you honoring yourself today? How are you experiencing joy today? What are you grateful for today? That's what I do for you. I hope I come in, I ask you that on Thursdays. I hope that you sit and take the time to answer those questions for yourself, because this will make you stronger and better for yourself, but for everyone else, for the people you love, for the people you care about, for the people you're invested in. You have to invest in yourself before you can actually do what you need to do for the other people that you're invested in. And that, my friends, I think is how we're going to end this show. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back next Thursday, 12 p.m. Central. If you like this show, tell your friends, have them subscribe. Please go subscribe on the YouTube channel if you have not already done that. It's youtube.com/Heather Vickery. Come and join us. Join my newsletter so that you can get a free dreamscaping mini course. You can get 30% off of services and products if you want to. You can get reminders for this show. I mean it when I tell you I care about you and your experience. I am your biggest fan. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you succeed, but you are the one that has to say yes to yourself. You have to show up for yourself. That's what has to happen. So, my name is Heather Vickery. I'm reminding you today and every day to choose yourself bravely, sending you off with lots of love and compassion and joy. We're going to be okay. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.